From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon as major breaking details are formulating about fourth stimulus, even fifth stimulus, multiple stimulus checks under the fourth stimulus package, and multiple checks under the fifth stimulus package. What's going on? Big money like you've never seen before. In this recording, we're going over the push for reconciliation for fourth stimulus, and it's heating up as the president details that over the year 2021, between January and this coming September, he looks to spend $6 trillion of the U.S. economy. And the push is underway for multiple stimulus checks. But for the first time ever on this channel, you're going to see the incredible new push for SSI reform that could pay you a lot more money lifetime. And on the other side of the aisle comes a new program, a new plan from Mitt Romney that could pay you a lot of money. But is it good or is it bad? And why is Joe Manchin and Christian Sinema among the supporters of that Romney plan exactly when 20-something Democrats are proposing a counter plan? I have all the details for you as well. Meantime, what happened to student loan forgiveness? Where is that? What is Elizabeth Warren saying about the situation? What about wealth tax? And is Elizabeth Warren getting the push underway back again for $2,400 of SSI and SDI? Meantime, the excitement for Ron Wyden and that $250 a week for 6 months is heating up. And I have other details across the board of all about money that's landing this week and next week. It's a big afternoon's recording. I'm so excited you're here. Let's get to it. This is Afternoons LA. Good afternoon, everybody. It's Afternoons LA. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Wall Street took a hit today with the Dow and NASDAQ down. Also, Bitcoin and crypto was all over the place. But also all over the place was congressional leaders with bills coming from the left and coming from the right and the middle and all over the place, all for U.S. stimulus. I'm going to be breaking down all the breaking big news in this recording. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. The link's at the top of the chat and in the pinned comment. Fourth stimulus would provide monthly stimulus checks to you, either for 6 months or 18 months, either for a bigger payday quicker or for a larger payday on a longer time frame. But all those details, which I'm going to go over later in this recording in a second, are now taking an interesting focus as this came out today. The president now debuted details initially of his fifth stimulus package this fall. $1 trillion he wants to spend, on top of the $3 trillion he wants to spend for fourth stimulus. And in addition to the $2 trillion he's already spent, $6 trillion. If you hear those numbers and think about something, there's one word you should be thinking about: reconciliation. While the president yesterday was trying to detail himself as a bipartisan leader and negotiator, there is no universe in which Republicans are going to give one president $6 trillion to spend in less than 9 months during his first term in office. Not going to happen. And so suddenly, the president's debuting of fifth stimulus is almost like an e-ticket to start reconciliation for your monthly fourth stimulus checks. Let's go over the details of that starting right now. Reconciliation is the only process by which you get stimulus checks. President doesn't give it to you. It's the senators and House members who give those stimulus checks. It starts by the House members proposing stimulus checks every month to the end of the pandemic, plus 1 additional year. So if the pandemic lasts 6 more months, you would get a stimulus check for 6 more months, and then a year after that, 18 months of checks. Senators want to give you stimulus checks over a shorter period of time, about 6 months from now till December. Who are the players at hand? Well, they're a little bit different. The House members are progressives. They're junior members of Congress. More about them later in this recording, but the senators are movers and shakers. And you're also going to see a reoccurring theme among who they are in this recording as well. Meantime, the House members want to pay you $1,000 a month after the first month, which would amount to $18,000 over 18 months. The senators, in turn, want to spend a little bit more, but faster. Their amount per month they have not detailed, but word on the street is it looks like this. They want to pay you $2,000 a month or $1,400 a month over 6 months, $12,000 or $8,400 over 6 months, rather than, let's say, $18,000 over 18 months. Who gets this? You do. If you're on SSI or SSDI, Social Security or Railroad benefits, you get this. If you make less than $75,000 a year, you get this. If you're a household of 4 or less, you get this. This is you. And those dollar numbers you saw in that graphic is just for one person. Now, if you've seen that graphic for the very first time, this is the very first time you've tuned to this channel, you say, that sounds like a lot of money, LALATE. Is this possible? And you have 2020 in the back of your brain. Get ready, because it is very, very small compared to what the president wants to spend in September on other people. Yes, today we learned the president of the United States wants to spend nearly about as much as which I had told you over the last 3 weeks. I had told you the president wants to spend upwards of $64,000 per an individual child over 18 years. Well, today we learned the president wants to spend an enormous sum of money, not $64,000, but almost as much. And what is it? It's the fifth stimulus package. This September, after the current fourth stimulus package is resolved, the president will do the America Family Plan, the fifth stimulus package. And today we learned the president wants to spend $300 a child, 18 years or younger, for 5 years. So he wants to send 5 times 12, 60 plus checks of $300 to children 17 and younger under his fifth stimulus package. He wants to make the child tax credit not a lifetime benefit of $65,000, but a 5-year benefit that would send upwards of 60 checks to children 17 or younger. He would pay for this with more taxes. Meantime, the Democrats propose incredible new SSI reform, and they want it in the fifth stimulus package. Oh my goodness, if you have been with me for a while and you have asked every single day, what is the update about SSI and SSDI? What is happening with SS? Is there any updates? Today is the day. You are literally going to have shocking, great news in about 2 minutes into this recording about what's going on with SSI and SSDI. You're going to be shocked. But let me continue more with fourth stimulus for a second. So fourth stimulus needs to start relatively soon. On Thursday and Friday this week, the President of the United States will have a climate conference. He will introduce executive orders about climate. He will talk about climate. Guess what? It's again a reason to do reconciliation for the fourth stimulus package, because the Republicans this week, again, for the third time in just a few days, and for yet another time in the last 3 weeks, has said, we're not doing climate on the fourth stimulus package. If you want to do that, you have to go by reconciliation. And away we go. Remember, reconciliation gives you stimulus checks. The Republicans don't want to give you a stimulus check, and the president doesn't want to as well. The Republicans made very clear that they will not do a stimulus package if there is climate in there. So what you need to know is that between now and July, they need to do the recon. How long does it take? Here are the details. The reconciliation vote, final vote, is around July 4th, confirms Speaker Pelosi and Leader Schumer. They have to get this done by July. Why? Because they go on vacation in September. You can't let these people go on vacation in July. They won't get to you until September. So they need to get it done before then. It takes 2 months to do a reconciliation next. So what is 2 months before July 4th? May 4th, which is just around the corner. They need to start this bill sooner rather than later. Viewers are asking me today, could it be done in less than 2 months? Here's what you need to know. Answer, no. The third stimulus package was done in 2 months by reconciliation because, one, it was a modification of the second stimulus package. So the bill was only about 300 pages long, only 300 pages long, because they were modifying a prior bill that was 3,000 pages long. Guess what? Fourth stimulus package is about railroads, Water, bridges, no one has written anything about that in prior bills. It's all new stuff they got to write. Number two, it involves a series of major tax codes that need to be changed. This is not only a lot of work, but it also could involve a lot of discussions. The House Ways and Means Committee, led by Richard Neal, will be singly the most important issue at hand. A new political report revealed over the weekend that the president has not even decided, let alone other Democrats, about which taxes need to get changed. Remember, the president, Joe Manchin, myself, we've told you that the fourth stimulus package involves raising corporate taxes. But the reports are very clear. The president needs to do a lot more than just that tax change, because that won't pay anything close to enough what he needs to pay for the $3 trillion stimulus package. Bottom line, they got to start this reconciliation very soon. The reconciliation process would start with a procedural bill. The procedural bill had nothing substantive in it. Call for a vote on the House floor. Do you agree to do a recon? Yes. Off to the Senate. Do you agree to do a recon? Yes. Off to the president. Done. At that point, the tow truck has passed over the finish line. Next time to go back and pick up the tow hitch on the tow truck. What does the tow hitch have on it? Everything the president wants to add. The roads, the bridges, and more. And then, that's potentially when the House members could put the stimulus checks in there. That is potentially when any other add-ons could be added in there. But even if they didn't, then off to the Senate it goes. And during a 2-day votorama, which is a covert, cloak and dagger, no one showing their cards ahead of time event, people quietly walk in with amendments, not new bills, but amendments, and say, surprise, I have this change. It's a surprise to everyone but their colleagues that know exactly when, how, and how much they're going to pounce with. So you want these reconciliation processes to start sooner rather than later. Meantime, I have a huge, incredible, great news about SSI. Here it is. Let's get to it. Boy, this is just jaw-dropping. It's jaw-dropping. It started with a letter revealed today that is just pages after pages and then signed by every mover and shaker that has supported multiple stimulus checks on the fourth stimulus package. The Ron Wydens, the Sherrod Browns, the Elizabeth Warrens, and Bernie Sanders, the progressives, the moderates, all signed this letter. Guess what it says before I even get to the substance of it? It says, you promised this. Wow. I mean, can you imagine? Suddenly, the people who want to give you multiple stimulus checks are writing the president a letter saying, you promised during the campaign trail and you promised during the transition papers that you would gift this SSI reform. In fact, it goes even further. It footnotes the line and pages where the president promised things to you. Oh boy, this is incredible. These are people in the same political party. These are colleagues of the president. Says, you promised it, it's time to do it. They're saying very clearly they want this put into the fifth stimulus package this fall. And what is this? It's big money for you. First, let me tell you broadly what it is. It would be more money on a monthly benefit for you, increasing your thresholds, increasing the amount you can keep in the bank, changing your benchmark, basically more money every month, and increasing your flexibility of what you can do as a person on benefits. It's absolutely incredible, great news. All right, let's go over the details one at a time. First, what it would provide is a series of modifications to what we see as the system at hand. First, it would increase benefit levels. Second, it would increase asset limits. Third, it would tie your benchmark to inflation away from COLA, where it currently is now. Then it would remove the current income exclusion where it currently is set at, and then it would remove the marriage penalty. It all results in more money to you. Let me go over each of them one at a time and explain what they say. First, the first step would be to raise benefit levels above the federal poverty line. They're currently at a current line that dates back to nearly the 1980s. And with that, it should be a lot more. They're asking to raise the benefits to at least 100% above the poverty level. So whatever you are at now, you could see it nearly go up 100% at least to start. Second, it wants to increase the asset limits, which are currently now at 1984 numbers, so that it could grow exponentially. Third, it wants to remove the income exclusion. The income exclusion is basically tying down how much money you can make and not allowing you to make any money. That data is dating back to 1962, where it currently allows $85 a month in earnings only. Had they reassessed this a long time ago, it would be at $745 a month right now. Third, next wants to remove the marriage penalty. And finally, it wants to tie your benefits to inflation so that your benefits would go up annually in December every time they reassess your benefits. This is huge and incredible, great news. I'm really excited for you. And as if it was like someone was listening from the corner of the room, guess what happened? It's very peculiar. I just think it's very peculiar. But just as this was hitting, guess what was also hitting? A counterproposal from Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema, Democrats, who the president has had issues with before, supporting a counterproposal by Mitt Romney and Republicans like Ron Portman, who's retiring, and other Republicans who don't want to give you money. What? Let's listen in. Okay, here we go. You ready for this? Is always something. The surprising details came out shortly after this report, where Republican Senator Mitt Romney today of Utah introduced a bill called the Trust Time to Rescue America Trust Act and provides to refund programs which are set to expire. Let's go over each of them. The Disability Trust Fund is set to expire in 11 years, run out of money. Then the Highway Fund is expected to run out of money next year. The Medicare Hospital Insurance Fund is set to run out of money in 5 years. And so the plan would create a bipartisan committee to decide how to save the funds. The supporters of the plan are Joe Manchin, Kristen Sinema, Mark Warner, and Senator Agnes King of Maine. But on the Republican side, it's Portman, Capito, who slammed the president's fourth stimulus package yesterday, and Cornyn, who also slammed the president's fourth stimulus package yesterday as well. The Romney plan, as it's referred to, would provide funding for these programs so they don't expire. But here's the twist. Yeah, I knew you thought there was a twist because it's Joe Manchin. The opponents of the Romney plan says it seeks to cut your benefits. Boy. So is it going to see time of day? No. But the question here, the reason why I brought up this Romney plan for you, is that while we're talking about fourth stimulus, while we're talking about the looming fifth stimulus of September, Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema, which are needed from any reconciliation, whether it's fourth stimulus or fifth stimulus, are suddenly supporting a counterproposal that will cut your benefits? Oh boy. It's one of those days. It's just one of those days, but keep it calm, because guess what? I got great news from you from Elizabeth Warren. Yes, just save us, Senator Warren. Elizabeth Warren is coming with a big push out of her back pocket, and it's this. Elizabeth Warren has debuted not one, but several letters in the last few days. The first letter is from her and Chuck and Leader Schumer, who are not happy that the student loan debt forgiveness did not get the memo due last Friday. Remember, there was a memo due from Miguel Cardona, your head of your education secretary, due last Friday, that would detail whether the president could forgive $50,000 of student loan debt by executive order. The president can, because Obama did and Trump did it. So where is that memo? That's what Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer wanted to know. That's what their letter says. And then this one. This is really great news. Today, Elizabeth Warren detailed a new letter which she wrote to Leon Cooperman. If you've been with this channel for a while, you know who he is. He's appeared on broadcast news a lot to talk about his opposition to her wealth tax bill. Her wealth tax bill is what pays for SSI and SSDI $2,400. During her run for president, she was asked, how are you going to pay for SSI and SSDI $2,400 and the new benchmark for benefits and the increase of benefits lifetime? She said, a wealth tax bill. I'm going to introduce a wealth tax bill. And about 2 months ago, she introduced it. I detail on the channel. We haven't heard much about it since then. Today you did. I told you there's a lot about SSI and SDI in this video. In today's new letter, she wrote Leon Cooperman to task him to come and chat before the Senate about his opposition to her bill because she wants to discuss it with her. Wow. Suddenly, she's pushing her bill to the front of the line. And she sits, as it says in the corner of her letterhead, on the Special Committee on Aging. Great news. Finally, if you're a member or you are not a member and considering to become a member, today may be the day you want to become a member. Because if you wondered how to push Elizabeth Warren to forgive student loan debt forgiveness, push Elizabeth Warren to do MSC, both of which items she wants to do, push Elizabeth Warren for the wealth tax bill and the $24, also what she wants to do, and push Elizabeth Warren to get that SSI reform in September, which she said today she wants to do, guess what? On page 2 at the end of the publicly published letter, on her letterhead, is the official email address of her lead staffer that takes her input from the public. Yes. Pull up that PDF if you're a member. It's the Elizabeth Warren letter on U.S. Senate stationery. You'll have a direct email address to contact her to push for student loan debt forgiveness, mortgage forbearance, also for the SSI and SSDI reform, and the MSC. What a big day, and I'm not finished. I'll be back in 60 seconds with more exciting news. It's getting bigger by the second. Stay with me as Afternoons LA continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues in 2 hours from now with your favorite evening show, Evenings LALATE. It's coming up in 2 hours from now. I'm going to be in that live chat like I am with this one right now at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then 2 hours after that is Late Night, our new irreverent, non-informational, laugh-only show at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's in 2 hours after that. How are you? It's a big Afternoons of Afternoons LA. Hope you're having a great afternoon. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We're trying to reach 400,000 subscribers by our 1-year anniversary. I think we're at 394 now, so we're just a short period away. And we're trying to get there. So make sure you subscribe. Also like this video. 3,000 likes. And I look forward to seeing you on Evenings LA next. So make sure you join me. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. So you get access to all these big PDFs and these Elizabeth Warren contacts and more. It's a big day. So what else is happening across the board? You know, Elizabeth Warren and Leader Schumer was surprised yesterday that they couldn't figure out where that $50,000 of student loan debt letter was from Miguel Cardona. Well, it's sort of a reoccurring theme in some regards because guess what's also missing? The shutter venue grant and the $5,000 EIDL grant and the mortgage forbearance money and the rent. What's going on here? Well, a new report details that a few things are missing, and I'm going to detail what's missing for you right now. In a new series of reports, it shows that there's so many things missing that still need to land. First item missing is rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, homeowners assistance, and homeowners bills from the second stimulus has not landed in some states like Florida. But the good news is that all that money for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more are landing in the states by May. Number two, also missing is the IRS advisory as how to fix anything you need to do to inform them about a child for that July $3,600 or $3,000 per month starting just a few weeks from now. Remember, if you're on SSI and SDI and have a child, they may not know about the child if you don't file tax returns. We're waiting for that update as well. Also, the EIDL grant for $5,000 for new applicants, not gone live. Remember, the law said they were required to go live with it. And the shuttered venue grant, which is not just for venues, has not gone live either. They've had problems technically with that grant as well, that computer system. Not particularly clear why they can't get a computer system to work over a week and a half or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But that is at least what they're updating us on that. So just sort of a reoccurring theme we have here about things that are just not particularly working. But the good news is that the work for forced stimulus, monthly stimulus checks is heating up. It's important for you to understand that when you're looking at forced stimulus, you're never going to hear stimulus checks mentioned by the president. You're never going to hear stimulus checks debuted as a bill because it won't be a bill. And you may not see stimulus checks debuted by any senator until after it's voted upon. The amendment during the reconciliation process is a surprise. It's an element of surprise. They don't want others to know what they want to do. And ultimately, you see what happened today with that Romney plan, where suddenly we see Sinema and Manchin and certain Democrats aligning themselves with a plan for Social Security at the same time that we have another plan for Social Security circulating from other Democrats. It shows how Democrats caucus one way and caucus another way. It's important to understand we still need to get to the finish line, and getting to the finish line involves you pushing Purple Power. Hashtag MSC, hashtag Purple Power. You want this bill to start reconciliation as soon as possible, not later. Here's what you also need to know, is that when you look at these graphics today about what the president wants to spend on fifth stimulus, we all understand at this point, this is all recon. This is all absolutely reconciliation. There's no universe in which a Republican, whether it's Mitch McConnell or Kevin McCarthy or even Mitt Romney, would support giving a president $6 trillion to spend in 9 months. I could have run graphics and comparing previous spending by previous presidents, but this is an absolute enormous spending list in just a very short period of time. So that means that everything needs to go by reconciliation. It's also important for you to know that while you may look at the big money for monthly stimulus checks and think it seems so big compared to 2020, well, understand, no one spent $6 trillion in 2020. This is the year in which there's big spending happening. Here is the analysis. If you went by the House plan, you would be looking at 18 months potentially of stimulus checks versus 6 months of stimulus checks. There's two ways to look at it. Would you rather get more money on the come, less money but faster on the come, or would you like to get more money over a longer period of time? Most viewers rather get more money over time. Meantime, Wall Street has really been baffling back and forth with how to deal with this economy. Today, corporate earnings did not really come in where they were supposed to come, so Wall Street pulled back. Guess what happens later this week? We're waiting for those unemployment jobs numbers. We haven't seen a lot of economic details in the last 48 hours of any new growth indicators. You know I stay on top of that, as we do together as a family. And while Coca-Cola did post earnings beats yesterday, we have a lot more earnings coming later this week, and the big numbers come in on Thursday. As American Express reports corporate earnings on Thursday, which could be the single biggest indicator of how quickly this economy is growing. Ultimately, the big concern is to get this stimulus package done sooner rather than later, and that the longer you dwell, the better this economy gets. There was bad news a few weeks ago of new unemployment claims, continuing unemployment, and small business closures. But now we see that those numbers are turning around. New unemployment claims are dropping, continuing unemployment claims are dropping, and small business closures are dropping as well. The push to get the stimulus out the door now, when there's 8 million jobs missing and there's 16 million Americans still unemployed, works. In September, who knows? But if you've been with this channel for a while, you know my opinion about the month of July. They don't work. They don't work from July to September. So you want to get this bill done sooner rather than later. I'll have more details about what's happening on the forced stimulus, what's happening with student loan debt forgiveness, and what's happening with this exciting SSI reform on Evenings LALATE in 2 hours from now. It's a major big broadcast. And I have a big surprise. Amazon hair. Imagine getting your hair done at Amazon. Yes. So while I have no new Apple products to debut in this broadcast, this is not an Apple convention today, and there was an Apple convention elsewhere. I'm so excited for you to join me on Evenings LA coming up next. It's in 2 hours from now. We got 2 more shows tonight, and boy, they are good ones. I don't want to miss you, and I don't want you to miss me in those broadcasts. So join me coming up next on Evenings LA in 2 hours from now, followed by Late Night, our irreverent, laugh-a-minute only, non-informative show. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We're trying to reach 400,000 subscribers. Let's do it. Every subscriber helps. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors to watch this channel and grow this channel. Also, like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay FLA for more.